well, the women are kind of setting themselves up for disaster because you never hear of like big obese women getting all that stuff happening.
That's not even true. Obese women have been, yes, obese women have been before. But based on my memory, women who are dressing more modestly are at higher risks of getting, because they are perceived as being more insecure, more self-conscious, easier to take power over.
I find that very hard to believe.
I'm sure you do, because you don't read studies and instead base everything on personal experience, which doesn't help.
I mean, at least I have a life, dude. I'm not sitting out here just...
Dude, I have 2 kids and a wife. You really want to go here? Like, you sound like you're fucking straight out of a trailer park, okay? Don't come over here and start throwing a bunch of bullshit at me.
Okay, I don't appreciate what you said insulting me about living in a trailer park.
Okay. Well, I don't appreciate what you said about saying that women aren't very smart and saying that women who are it's probably because they're dressing like whores.
So I heard you talking to my friend a little while ago. It was like yesterday or something, and I just didn't appreciate what you said.
Well, see, now you sound like you're making a fake accent.
What do you mean?
Is this your real voice?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, it's just I get trolled a lot, and then I feel really stupid when I'm trolled. So like, I don't know. I'm.
If you think I'm trolling, you can hang up on me. I could care less.
Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
From Arkansas.
Do you think I think he might be being sincere. This is the thing. This is why I have such a tough time, okay? Let me just look up an Arkansas accent, okay?
All right. I figured I would do one of these accent tags today.
I cannot tell.
I've done my farm work all my life.
I think he might be for real. Shit, now I feel bad. Okay. I don't know. Yo, you still there?
Yes, sir.
All right, now I feel kind of bad, and I think that maybe your voice wasn't trolling, and now I'm sorry. I'm not going to just dismiss you based on your voice, because it sounds like you're here to at least genuinely talk, so.
I completely understand that.
Okay, so we'll just keep going then, I guess. Yeah, I do have a problem with the Bible. I mean, he said that it was okay he said it was a sin for women to sleep around, but not a sin for men to sleep around. And that the reason it wasn't a sin for men to sleep around is because God blessed some polygamous relationships. The 10 Commandments literally say, thou shalt not commit adultery.
I mean, yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily say having like sex every once in a while is necessarily committing adultery. I'd say if you're like going out cheating on your wife with one consistent woman, then that's a little different, if you know what I'm saying.
I feel like you're trying to like redefine things for your own convenience. You can't say it's not no. It is adultery. If you cheat on your wife one time, you have committed adultery.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that having sex is necessarily adultery.
You want to look it up?
Disagree with that?
Yes, by the definition of the word, I disagree with it. Adultery is defined as voluntary sexual intercourse between a married person and a person who is not his or her spouse. So, technically, since your friend was not formally married, but was rather engaged, it would be cheating. It would not be adultery necessarily because they were not formally married. However, it still is pretty clear in the Bible that you shouldn't be cheating on your partner. That's why I brought up the story about David and Bathsheba as well.
But David was married and was Bathsheba, so obviously...
And David was married to multiple women, right. And he still committed adultery with another woman.
Yeah, because that woman was married.
He was married also, yes.
Exactly. That exactly proves my point.
No, but it's not the formal marriage. It's the fact that you have committed to a partner. So, like, it's not like, because my marriage is not recognized by the state as being a formal marriage, therefore, it is not a sin to sleep around and cheat on a partner. Like, no, it's getting at something deeper, which is you have committed to a partner. If you have committed to a partner, if you've given them a ring, which your friend said he gave his fiancée a ring, which is why I called her his fiancée, then you have said, I am committing to you monogamous. Unless you've discussed something separately.
I don't know, dude. I feel like down south, I feel like it's just a little. You know what I'm saying?
You keep like cutting out like briefly for a second. Down south, it's just what?
It's a little different. Like things go down a little differently.
I don't care if things go down differently or not. If you're cheating on a spouse, then you're cheating on a spouse. Like, I don't know why this is so hard for you guys. I feel like it's because deep down inside, you might even know that it's wrong, but you don't really want to accept that it's wrong because maybe you're guilty of it. I don't know. And also, someone in chat is making a good point. Also, is you're talking about like when women cheat, it's more about emotion. For men cheating, it's more about sex. Lust is, or could be argued, is a form of is emotion, or maybe it's a feeling. I don't know. Let me look it up.
Necessarily say that it's out of lust. I just say that men just like to have a lot of sex, and I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. But they might just get bored with just doing it with the same woman.
Look, although lust is a natural emotion, so lust is an emotion, most people eventually experience it. But it's important to be careful how you act on it. If lust is not expressed healthily or respectfully, instances of discomfort, abuse, or other issues may arise. So yeah, if you're going to go have sex with somebody who you find to be attractive, who's not your partner, then it's lust. You're lusting after that person. And didn't Jesus Christ literally say that if you look at a woman with lust, then you have committed adultery?
I don't think Jesus said that. I think it was like a 10 commandment.
Nope, it was Jesus Christ himself. Jesus, quote, look at woman with lust. Matthew 5:27-28. Whoever then looketh on a woman to lust after her, that is, so looks on her as to lust, and cast about to obtain, he is rightly committed adultery with her in his heart.
So, dude, I must have committed adultery about 1,000 times because I've looked at women and thought they were attractive before.
No, wait, stop, because this is a common misconception. Lust is not just looking at somebody being like, wow, they're very attractive, and admiring that they're attractive. You can't even help if you look at somebody and like naturally find them to be attractive or something. That's not really emotion, that's not really lust. Lust is when you look at somebody, you think they're attractive, and then you start purposely over and over again playing it over in your head of how you would try to obtain them, how it would be to have sex with them, picturing this, picturing that. That's more of the lust, right? It's the intentional frequency of these thoughts. Having like a thought that pops in your head that's lustful, or seeing another woman who you can't help but really think like, God damn, she's fucking hot. That's not really lust. Lust is far more intentional.
I mean, I gotta admit, I've done that a bunch of times before too, and I honestly don't see that as a very bad thing.
I don't think it's as big of a deal as it would be to physically cheat on a partner. And I mean, this is, I don't really follow the Bible, so I'm not here to like defend God or defend Jesus' words here or not. But I think that if you have done that, then okay, I guess, like take it up with God, take it up with your wife or whatever. But like, can we at least concede that if you have slept with somebody aside from your partner who you've committed to, you're cheating on them? That's pretty close to adultery.
I guess we can just agree to disagree on that one, because I've never seen like sex as necessarily cheating if it's a man doing it.
Bro, do you genuinely think that like sex means absolutely nothing to men? Like,
I think it's more for the pleasure or not for like the feeling.
But it's a pleasureful feeling. Dopamine is released in your brain. What, like, sex means nothing to a man, but women, like, if they have sex, then it's like a carnal sin? This is just ridiculous.
I just think it's different. I think it's different. A woman will sleep with a man because she built this emotional connection with them. A man will just sleep with literally anybody because they just don't care.
No, but okay, well, first of all, I don't know why you think men are like that, because that's not how men should be. And I certainly hope that more men will be less like that, because I don't like to think of men as being like these mindless cavemen that just, I see a hot woman, I must fuck immediately. Like, it's disgusting. We're not apes. We've evolved past this. And then more so, you say that like, well, the wife has to have an emotional connection. And she should be relying on her partner for that emotional connection, right? Just like the man should be relying on his partner for the pleasure and lust of sex or whatnot. They both have come to an agreement in which they are going to fulfill each other's needs in certain ways. So whether for the man, sex is just quick pleasure, he said he's going to get that pleasure from a partner. And whether the woman is having an emotional connection, she said she's going to have that emotional connection with her partner. So it's both bad.
All right, maybe let me try to explain this in a little bit of a different way. Do you think there are more high-value men or high-value women?
I don't know what a high-value man is.
High-value man is successful, good-looking. They just got everything going for them. And a high-value woman is just a beautiful woman. Because guys don't really care about how successful a woman is or anything like that. They just care about if she's hot, and pretty much it.
What was the question again? Oh, a high-value man, a high-value woman? Yeah, no, I don't know. I think that if you're saying a high-value man as far as like somebody who's very successful guy, probably more men who are making more money on average. I don't know if there's historical reasons for that, but I mean, women make different choices. There are obviously social reasons why that is.
No, that wasn't the question. I was asking, by definition, a high-value man is someone that is successful, making a lot of money. And by definition, a high-value woman is someone that's beautiful. Do you think there are more beautiful women or more high-value, like, wealthy men?
I don't know if high-value woman is just beauty. I feel like that's kind of shallow. There should be more to what makes somebody a high-value human being besides their appearance. So then, I mean, that's the harm also with the whole red pill crap, which is then as a woman gets older, her value is now deteriorating. Like that's gross. I don't think that's acceptable. And I don't think that people's value should just be contingent upon their appearance. Just like people would also say,
sleeping around.
Fresh and Fit would say, no, a high-value woman is somebody who is a woman who is young, healthy, very beautiful, and preferably a virgin or has only had minimal sex partners. That would be a high-value woman, according to some people, right? But then it's right down to the same thing, which is now sex is seen as this thing that when women have sex, they're losing value. And that's just such a disgusting way of looking at things. So no, I don't really buy into this whole narrative about like high-value men, high-value women. There are probably more beautiful women hanging around the nation than there are successful men, I guess. But like, I don't think it's fair to just define beauty as high value.
So I guess the thing that I disagree on a little bit is that I feel like women are right there absolute, like a high-value woman is someone that is just beautiful. Like, that's all that really matters. If you're a 10 out of 10, most men could care less about your personality, how successful you are. But a man, on the other hand, he has to be good looking, have a lot of money, has to be funny, he has to have all these things going for him. And they're just way less high-value men than there are high-value women.
Well, because you're classifying high-value women as just any girl that's like attractive. But like, there's more to that. There's a lot of people that talk about women nowadays having certain attitudes. They like a lot of traditional conservatives want a woman who is far more sympathetic to the idea of being a stay-at-home mom. So if a woman is really beautiful but is also super career focused, according to some people, she's not going to be a high-value woman because that's not what this person is looking for or what they view as high value. The whole high value, low value thing is an arbitrary metric that just doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, really. And I don't think that we should be applying value to human beings based on their accomplishments or their appearance. Rye Black, let me debate you, Hunter. You're coping hard. Okay, Rye Black, please join the Discord. I'll take your call next. All right, sorry, go ahead.
That guy said it. You're coping pretty hard right now, but
okay. No, yeah, I mean, you can keep saying that, but you're failing to demonstrate it all. So far, we've demonstrated that you and sleeping around on a partner and your friend sleeping around while still having a partner is pretty much more or less adultery. It is a sin against God, and we've established that that there's no real such thing as like a high value woman, high value man, or if there is, it's completely arbitrary.
I just said what a high value woman and a high value man are. That's the way.
And I explained why that's a dumb way to look at it, and it doesn't make any sense because a high value woman is going to be incredibly different, apparently, or according to what the partner is looking for. So if I'm looking for a woman
looking for a beautiful woman that'll be loyal.
Okay, so if I'm looking for a beautiful woman who is going to be loyal, then maybe I find her and I think she's a high value woman. But oh, wait a minute, I really want to be the breadwinner and I want to be the one taking care of the traditional family and I want her to be staying home with the kids. But she doesn't want to do
And
that.
if you're successful,
She wants to go.
Successful.
No, but she wants to go off and focus on her career. Suddenly, she's not so high value to me because that's not what I personally am looking for in a relationship. This is why the high value, low value thing is super, super subjective, and it's not a very good metric. Like, what if a woman's not looking for a guy who's super career driven? Maybe she wants a guy who's really laid back and is willing to just like sleep in and lounge around and be like relaxed around her. Then
no women is looking for that.
You don't know that, first of all. Second of all, even if she were, my only point is that if she were, then the man who is always working so hard, that might not be a high value man for her. All I'm demonstrating is that it's arbitrary and that it's subjective.
It's pretty objective. I mean, if you look at like the majority of people and you ask them what they're looking for in a man and a woman, you'll get a pretty similar response. Most men will say an honest, loyal woman that's beautiful, and most men will say a successful, handsome man that's got everything going for them, their whole life figured out. I mean, look at have you seen a lot of these street interviews on like YouTube shorts or whatever, and they always ask, what are you looking for in a man and what are you looking for in a woman? And like what Sneeko used to do before he got banned, like what are you looking for in a man, what are you looking for in a woman? They usually give pretty similar responses.
There's so much more though to this. Like, so you're right that like I'm not even denying that women are obviously going to expect sometimes more qualities than men will. You're right that men are obviously willing to settle for less as long as the woman is beautiful. Women are more selective, sure. So, however, it says, replicating other research, we found that around the world, both men and women preferred kindness, health, and intelligence the most in a mate. However, women wanted slightly more of these qualities than men did on average, which again, I'm sure women were slightly more selective. That isn't surprising to me. But like kindness, health, intelligence, maybe you have somebody who is hard worker, makes a lot of money, but he's just a complete fucking dick. He might not be so high value anymore.
I mean, I know plenty of women that will settle for the douchebags just because they're rich. I mean, look at most.
Keyword there is
really
settle, my friend. Keyword there is settle.
Deal with them. I don't think that they're going to be like, oh, this guy's kind of rude, so I'm not going to give him a chance, even though he's a millionaire. I mean, any smart woman would be like, I'll look past his douchebagness and give him a chance because he's rich.
Okay,
do that. You can ask any woman.
Maybe, but not actually. So like they did there was a really interesting study that was conducted where they took men and put them in fancy cars. So of course what they found is this, following like what you were just saying, is men didn't give a shit if the woman was driving a nice car or a crappy car. If she was hot, they didn't care if her car was nice or not. Women, of course, took more notice to nicer cars, of course. However, what they found is that although the guys in the nice cars did get more glances, women turned their heads to look more, women were not as interested in actually settling down with that person because the women in the study perceived the men in the nice sports cars as being far more interested in something casual, like a hookup. So even if it initially caught their notice, even if the wealth caught their notice in this case, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to translate to her wanting to settle down and marry that person.
Right? I mean, most men aren't necessarily looking for marriage nowadays.
No, women. I'm saying women. You're saying what woman wouldn't look at a millionaire or whatever. And I'm saying based on this study, the nice fancy cars, the rich, the wealth caught their attention, but it didn't translate to them actually wanting to marry that person and settle down with that person.
Yeah, because a lot of women, they're not very smart when it comes to things like this. To say it, I don't mean to offend nobody because...
Say it? I didn't hear you.
What?
What did you say? I didn't hear you. You said, I don't want to offend nobody, but I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I just said that most women aren't very smart when it comes to things like this because I don't know how accurate do you think that study is?
I don't think you're very smart when it comes to these things. See how every time, now you're going to tell me that I'm being smug and rude and mean or whatever, but when you come on here and say you don't think women are smart about these things, which there's no fucking evidence of, by the way, then I'm going to inevitably hit back with probably something a little bit smug. So like when you come on here and everything thus far you've said has been completely wrong, and then you say women aren't very smart, it's ironic.
It's because you got one study, dude. Like, I can pull up a random study.
It's no.
Hey, look.
No, you were wrong about the Bible thing too. It's just ironic that you've been wrong the entire time, and then you say women are the ones who aren't very smart. Like, this is the coping.
That is coping. I just feel like you're kind of taking things a little bit out of context and kind of cherry picking. Like, I saw a little bit of your other content, and you seem to do this quite a bit, where you just find one specific study.
Yeah, this is what everybody says when they're coping. It's actually adorable. No, I don't just find one specific study to agree with me. Ooh, woo. I did look up on the fly here, what do men and women want in a partner, because I was curious. However, I have an entire research document that I've been working on and compiling for several months, actually, no, years now. And I have an entire section on women, divorce, red pill, men, hypergamy, all of this shit. Okay, so don't accuse me of just cherry picking studies that agree with me. I have done the research, my friend. I've even found studies that claim to support what you're claiming, and I know how to refute them. So don't tell me that I just cherry pick studies, because I actually take the time to research this.
Well,
it's just that when you look at research, you're wrong about everything.
Huh? You're not living like real life experiences. You're just sitting on a computer all day, not living life. You're just searching up, what study will agree with my opinion.
But no, I'm not searching up. Did you not listen to what I just said? Is it going out one ear and coming out the other? I just told you that I've read studies that seem to support what you are claiming, but I know how to refute them because I actually read the study. So I'm explaining to you that not only do I not cherry pick data, I'm familiar with the alternative data and how it does not compare to the data that I used.
Living like real life experience.
This is part of the real life experience. You can't base everything on studies. You can't base everything on real life experience.
I think you can base the majority of what you know off of real life experience.
You know I'm going to do the same thing I say every time, dude. This is why I get smug, is because it's like I'm talking to NPCs. You're making the same argument that I've heard a billion times. Based on your reasoning, then fine. Then we all believe the world is flat now.
No, I've been in a plane, dude. I know that the world is not flat.
No, I don't believe you, actually. I think that every human being that tries to claim, well, actually, I would be able to do a scientific experiment in my backyard to have a personal experience demonstrate the world is round. No, shut the fuck up. Everybody thinks the world is round because they saw the pictures, they saw the evidence, they were taught that in school.
Do you think that the moon landing thing was real? I've heard a lot of conspiracies about it.
I'm not getting into the moon landing thing, and I genuinely don't even want to know what you think about that, because what you've expressed thus far seems to be demonstrating like a massive amount of ignorance on your end. You're accusing me of cherry picking studies when I'm not. You're saying we should base everything on personal experience when we shouldn't. I mean, this is ridiculous. Women then could be saying that men should be stayed away from because they're rapists, because their personal experience is they got date raped.
I mean, maybe if they had that much bad experience with men, it's probably because they're dressing kind of slutty and being kind of whores and all of that. So it's probably their fault.
This is why studies are so valuable, is because it helps refute dumb fuck things like what you just said. Is now when men are being rapey, you're putting the blame on women. Rape is not initially a crime of sex even, but it begins as a crime of power. It's somebody desiring to have power over another human being. So whether or not the woman is dressed like a whore is actually irrelevant, because the rapist is seeking out power, not seeking out somebody who is dressed like a whore.
I think we all agree that rape is disgusting, and I'm not here trying to defend it or nothing like that.
No, you're not defending rape. You're just putting all the onus of the rape on the woman.
No, I'm not doing that. It's the man's fault. He took the action. Well, the women are kind of setting themselves up for disaster, because you never hear of like big obese women getting all that stuff happening.
That's not even true. Obese women have been raped before. This is ridiculous. Like, women are actually at arguably higher risks. I would have to double check this, but based on my memory, women who are dressing more modestly are at higher risks of getting raped, because they are perceived as being more insecure, more self-conscious, easier to take power over.
I find that very hard to believe.
I'm sure you do, because you don't read studies and instead base everything on personal experience, which doesn't help.
I mean, at least I have a life, dude. I'm not sitting out here just.
Dude, I have
on my
2
computer
kids and a
all day.
wife. Like, do you really? I own my house. I have 2 kids and a wife. Like, do you really want to go here? Like, you sound like you're fucking straight out of a trailer park. Okay, don't come over here and start throwing a bunch of bullshit at me, accusing me of cherry picking data, and then go off spieling nonstop about dumb shit and how it's actually more or less women's fault that they're getting raped.
Okay, I don't appreciate what you said, insulting me about living in a trailer park.
Okay. Well, I don't appreciate what you said about saying that women aren't very smart and saying that women who are raped it's probably because they're dressing like whores.
I don't see anything that doesn't even make any sense to me. Why would women that are old and ugly? It's got to be like them. It's got to be the women's. Dude, I'm gonna let you have this one because stupid.
You just keep cutting out. I think I don't know.
Is it something with my microphone or something?
I think so. I'm trying to find that study. Hold on.
Hold on. Let me try to get my other microphone hooked up. I'm using a new one this time. Like whenever I don't even know, dude.
Sexual violence myths and misconceptions. There's the whole thing that like clothing is the big thing. The big factor is just not true. It doesn't matter what someone is wearing or how they are acting. When asked to be raped, people who sexually assault often use force, threat, or injury. An absence of injuries does not indicate the victim consented. Okay, victims. Rape and sexual assault are crimes of violence and control that stem from a person's determination to exercise power over another. Forcing someone to engage in non-consensual sexual activity is sexual assault, regardless of the way that person dresses or acts.
And what website is that?
This is a sexual violence myths and misconceptions. I can find you a different one, though, if you'd like.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if I'll buy, like, one study.
Sure, well, I'm not saying you should buy one study. I'm just giving you the first thing that I found, and I'm telling you right now, yes, I'm looking this up. I don't have this in my notes. I'm trying to find more information about this. I'm just trying to find a study. I'm seeing everything say that is bullshit. An exclusive survey conducted for The Independent found 55% of men believe that the more revealing the clothes a woman wears, the more likely that she will be harassed or assaulted. The research was based on a sample of over 1,000 adults. Dublin Rape Crisis Center, which runs a 24-hour free helpline for people. Okay. We know that people are raped wearing a variety of clothing. The idea that a woman who goes out scantily clad will be pounced on is the most common myth across generations. They could be in their jeans, school uniform, or pajamas. We blame victims and ask them what they could have done to prevent it. Maybe it's as old as time. In the Bible, the first thing Adam said to God was, "Women tempted me." I didn't know that. That's actually interesting.
Says that in the Bible? Where does it say that in the Bible? That's got to be wrong.
Well, I'm still trying to find the other thing for it.
Because I've read the Bible and it never says that anywhere. So that study might be completely fake. I don't trust that one.
Okay, hold on. I mean, I'm reading here. This has been studied to death. They have found no correlation between whether a woman was wearing revealing clothing or not to getting raped. It's similar to how there is no type of rape victim, which is true. I mean, you would see a much stronger correlation, right, between Wait, hold on. Nobody checked. Hunter just watched a video and just hoped he's legit, but it sounds fake. Oh, they're talking about your accent. Yeah, like there are women who are raped regardless of what they're wearing.
So Jay, and I'm not saying that it's just because of what the woman is wearing, but I'm not out here seeing these big old beast women dressed up like really conservative. I don't know what you call that, but you don't see women dressed up super really fat, ugly women dressed up getting raped all the time. It's usually these beautiful
Maybe it was
women.
because they were
that-
already abused first. So it says victims of childhood sexual abuse are far more likely to become obese adults. New research shows that early trauma is so damaging that it can disrupt a person's entire psychology and metabolism.
So now they're coming up with excuses for why people are fat. Come on, dude.
Wait,
you can't
no,
be buying
what are
all
you
this.
talking about right now? This is why I'm going to hang up on you in a minute. I'm not making excuses for why people are fat. You're trying to say nobody who's fat is ever raped, but yet a lot of obese people have disproportionate amounts of rape or sexual abuse that occurred in their childhood. So that could be contributing to their eating disorder. This isn't an excuse. This is an explanation.
Dude, I don't understand what you're talking about. It just seems like you're trying to come up with excuses for every single person but the woman. I mean, every excuse for the woman.
You're trying to come up with every excuse for the rapist. That's the thing, is that first of all, I'm not saying there's an excuse for the woman. Like, if you're fat, then yeah, you should probably take responsibility and do the best you can to lose weight so that you can live a happier, healthier life. I'm not talking about fat people right now. I'm explaining that if somebody is overweight, it's more likely that they have been abused as a child.
And that just sounds like that's kind of an excuse.
Okay, well, it's not an excuse. It's called an explanation. There's a difference. An excuse would be saying that because of this, it's now okay. It's not okay to be fat because it's unhealthy. So you should try to be, more healthy, of course. But it is an explanation as to why they might be fat, because when you experience childhood trauma, that can contribute to eating disorders and other psychological problems.
Are you one of those fat acceptance people? I see them all over TikTok. They're like, don't worry about being fat. You're beautiful. Like, dude, that's absolutely the most cringe thing I've ever seen in my life. Like,
we're not going to move on to the next subject here. We're going to we've established the obese women victims of rape thing. And again, the idea that like women who are overweight can't be victims of rape, or it's very unlikely, it just doesn't seem to be true. There's some evidence that overweight women actually report higher rates of sexual violence than women of other weight categories. Although there has been some research implicating weight bias in sexual assault cases, this has not been extended to cases of sexual coercion, despite the growing share of police reports. A sample of 168 participants were recruited from Canada through a mid-sized university using a mock jury paradigm. Participants responded. Okay, hold on. Participants reported their opinions on the sexual coercion scenario and prejudicial attitudes using 2 standardized scales. Men reported greater rape myth acceptance. Okay, so I mean, this is something from, I don't want to say PubMed because that's not like the publishing source, but you can find this here on the National Library of Medicine. I can send this to you directly. So
I'm assuming it's some feminist organization.
No, it's a government website, pubmed.gov, where you can upload studies and peer-reviewed information. This isn't even saying that like fat women are always more likely to be raped, but this is suggesting that actually some research has even shown that maybe fat women are at a higher risk when it comes to the issues of coercion. So the idea that like fat women don't get raped is bullshit. It's not true. And then finally the Bible verse, Genesis 3:12, the man said, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree and I ate it." The man replied, "It was the woman you gave me who gave me the fruit." The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the fruit of the tree. Okay.
Yeah, so that's
he
what I
didn't
was
say
thinking.
the woman tempted me verbatim, but he said it's the woman did it. She did it first.
Yeah, I was thinking of something sexual, and it was the woman's fault. Like, you can't deny that. She was giving him like all the she was the one who started everything, and that's what it really boils down to.
So because of the beginning of time, it's just initially women's problem. Like, come on, my dude.
I'm not saying that. You're putting words into my mouth.
I'm at this point. I'm mostly
No.
I'm mostly just laughing at you because you're being so fucking stupid. So I think that now's a good time to just wrap up the conversation. Okay, listen, I understand that like maybe you're coming from a place of just ignorance without trying to be like,
I'm not ignorant. I have real life experience.
and your real life experience is incorrect about virtually every fucking thing you've talked about. One, fat women are not less likely to be raped, but in fact, based on the data we've seen, it suggests that fat women are actually higher risk of being sexually coerced. Two, it doesn't matter what somebody's wearing because rape is a crime of power, not a crime of sex. The Bible verse was condemning adultery. Do we need to go over anything else? Like, you keep on. The first thing I said when I brought up the women being raped thing was, well, maybe she shouldn't have been dressing like a whore. Like, personal experience or not, your personal experience is leading you very, very astray.
I'm starting to get kind of upset, and I'm not a very angry person. I don't get angry very easily, but you're getting me very angry. And I think it's best if I just leave now before I start saying some things.
That's a great idea because you're making me really angry too.
That's because you're stupid.
No, you come up here getting all butthurt, acting like an offended snowflake, saying, "Oh, woohoo, you made fun of an accent." Meanwhile, yeah, it's the women's fault when they're raped. You know, maybe they shouldn't have been dressing like a whore. LOL. Like, you deserve all the disrespect, my friend. I've been respectful to you based on what you actually deserve.
I'm starting to get to the point where
You're gonna say the N-word. Get so mad you just start speaking the N-word?
No, I'm not disrespectful.
Bye. Bye-bye. I actually had to leave or else I was going to start saying the R slur.